Hi there, welcome to the Introduction to ELDOA video. If you've heard about ELDOA, it's becoming more and more popular now, especially online, but you've never taken it before, then my hope is this video will give you a good idea of what to expect when you're taking a group class, or even if you're going to work with someone one-on-one. ELDOA has become very popular recently, although it's been around for a long time. It was developed by Dr. Guy Voyer, who's a French osteopath. And he also developed a number of other modalities, myofascial stretching, global postural stretching, and all of them have some similar principles. So after this video, you should be well set up to do ELDOA classes and some myofascial stretches and global postural stretches if you come across those as well. So all you need for the video is space with your mat or Pilates yoga mat, doesn't matter, even a carpeted area will work, and clear wall space. So if you don't have a clear wall, the back of a door will do, or the back of a couch if it's vertical to the floor. And essentially we're just going to be lying down with our legs up that surface. So if you need to set that up, I'll just tell you a little bit about ELDOA, what it means. So ELDOA, ELDOA is actually an acronym, and it stands for Etiements, Longitudineaux, Decoaptation, Osteo-Articulaire. And decoaptation, you can read more about what it means in the description, but decoaptation is the word to kind of focus on. So to decoapt, it's not really an English word. You can come across the word coapt in the English dictionary. And to coapt means to take two surfaces, like a ball and socket joint, and to approximate them. So the surfaces come together. So to decoapt is the opposite of that. And in ELDOA, we're using tensions on either side of the joint to decoapt specific joints in the body. So that means all the joints along your spine, your shoulders, your hips, other joints in the body, those are the main ones. And we create, there's a sense of separation. So if that seems like a good thing for your body, then you'll probably enjoy this class. And most of us kind of need some of that nowadays. So let's get started. The first thing you'll want to know about is axial elongation. You'll hear that in every class. Either they'll say elongate the spine, lengthen the spine, axially elongate the spine. And what that means is just that you're going to send the crown of your head up to the ceiling and pull your tailbone down at the same time to essentially lengthen all the curves out of your spine temporarily. And it's active, it's effortful. Pull your tailbone down, push the crown of your head up. And if you have your wall or that surface, you can even go ahead right now and sit with your back against the wall. And your legs can be relaxed, however is comfortable for you. And notice, can you get the back of your pelvis to touch the wall? Can you get your low back to touch the wall, the back of your ribs, and then the back of your head? And which parts of your spine are not touching? And those parts, you're going to try and draw them into the wall. And at the same time, if you tuck your chin towards your throat and feel the back of your head slide up the wall, that's how you're going to lengthen your neck spine. You're going to keep your ribs back against the wall and draw your low back towards the wall. And just try to pull the tailbone down and push the crown of the head up at the same time. So we're elongating, pulling all the curves out of the spine just for a moment. And then you're going to relax. So if you were at the wall, great. If you're not, that's fine. Come away from the wall if you were there and try it out in space. So I'm going to sit to the side so I can do it with you. You can see. I'm going to first start with my tailbone. I'm going to pull my tailbone down to the floor. And you might notice it just lengthens my low back curve. And then I'm going to tuck my chin towards my throat, lift the base of my skull up, and I'm actively using the musculature along my spine to pull the base of my skull up, pull my tailbone down, and lengthen the whole back of my body. And you want to see if you can pull that bone at the base of your skull, your occipital process, up pull your tailbone down and breathe. Don't stop breathing. Also, don't tighten your abdominals, not an abdominal workout. And then you're gonna relax slowly out of it. So to get ourselves warmed up for ELDOA, we're gonna do a little bit of movement through the joints that we'll be using for these postures. We're gonna work mainly in spinal ELDOAs today. So start just with your shoulders. Start rolling your shoulders back, nice and easy. Rolling your shoulders forward. If you want, you can sit up on a cushion or even a chair for this. Take your arms out in front and turn your arms out and turn your arms in. External rotation, your palms and elbow creases go up. Internal rotation, they go down. External rotation, palms up. Internal rotation, external rotation, elbow creases up. Internal rotation, elbow creases down. So do a few more of those and see if you can feel the shoulders, the joint, shoulder joint moving. The arm bone in the shoulder socket. Okay, and now let's leave our palms facing each other. Pull your shoulder blades together on your back and then widen your shoulder blades away from one another. So pull them together. You should feel the shoulder blades come towards the spine and then widen them away from the spine and come around the sides of the ribs. Shoulder blades, try and move maybe lower down the lower half of the shoulder blades so that you're not up in your neck and your upper traps. You're moving at the lower half of the shoulder blades. Good. Let's do one more time. Pull your shoulder blades in towards your spine. Widen your shoulder blades away. Try that even with your arms out a little bit. Pull your shoulder blades towards your spine and then push your shoulder blades out to the sides of your ribs. And try to do that without moving your rib cage. We might try and cheat by pushing our ribs forward and pushing our ribs back, but try and just move your shoulder blades. And back. Good. Relax your arms down. I'm going to stay to the side and we're going to work on our head. So you're going to move your head forward and pull your head back. And imagine your nose and your chin are on the same level the whole time. So as your chin comes in, it ends up tucking in towards your throat. And you feel the back of your skull lift away from the floor. So your neck spine lengthens as you pull your chin in. Good. Bring your chin forward and then pull your chin in. Think about the top of your throat moving up and back. And one more time, forward and draw the top of the throat up and back. Good. Now we're going to move to your ribs. Now stay to the side. You can stay facing the front. And you're going to push your ribs forward and then round your ribs back. And push your rib cage forward and pull your rib cage back. So I'm trying to get some movement through my thoracic spine, maybe not focusing yet on the low back, but focusing on from the waistline up to about the collarbones. That part of your spine moving. And you may or may not feel that it's accessible right now. That's okay. Just think about that part of your spine. Good, and then just relax and let's put our feet flat. So now your knees are bent and your feet are flat. Hold on behind your knees. Sit right up on top of your sit bones and then just curl back on your sit bones. Feel your low back round to about your waistline and then use your arms to come back up. So you're going to curl the tailbone, the sit bones, your sacrum, that bone at the base of your spine, your low back, and come back up. Just watch your shoulders are easy, the ribs stay lifted, and use your arms to come back up. Let's do 2 more times, rolling back through the low back, through the pelvis. 1 more time, tailbone, sit bones, pelvis, low back, and come all the way up. Good. Moving to your legs. Recline on your hands, but keep your spine long. Walk your feet wider than your shoulders. Flex your feet and let your knees drift, but don't let your left sit bone lift off the floor. So keep that down. And then let your knees drift to the left. Don't let your right sit bone lift. So we're keeping the pelvis really stable. We're trying to lengthen up out of the spine. And we're moving the knees over to the right and over to the left without disturbing the pelvis. 1 more time, right and left. Good. Now stretch your legs out in front of you. You can stay reclined on your hands or you can sit right up and turn your legs in and out. So think about your knees moving in and your knees moving out. So we have internal rotation, external rotation, internal and external. And just let your thighs move from your hip sockets, internal and external rotation, all the way from up the hip. And then we'll move to the feet. Leave your legs relaxed, parallel now. Flex your feet and point your feet. So I'm just doing heels reaching forward, toes reaching forward. Good. And see if you can really pull your toes up towards you as you flex your feet and push your toes away. Pull your toes up, push your heels away, push your toes away, let your heels slide in. One more time, flex and point. And now this funny little movement where you just turn the soles of your feet to look in and out. So it's like you have little searchlights on the soles of your feet and they're searching, looking out, looking in. And you might find your legs are moving a whole lot. Try to keep them more still. It's an ankle movement. This is called pseudo-eversion with your feet out, pseudo-inversion with your feet in. And you don't have to remember all of these things. We're just building a little bit of muscle memory and a little bit of awareness. Good. Relax your feet. Bring your legs in comfortably. We're about to start. One last thing. Take your arms out in front of you. Externally rotate your arms. Elbow creases up. Sit taller. Pull your tailbone down. Reach the crown of your head up. And now extend your wrists. So I call these kind of Spider-Man hands. Shooting webs out the heels of your hands. Spread your fingers. Keep your shoulders easy away from your ears, but feel your hands press forward. Really push forward through the heels of your hands. Really lengthen your spine. And this is the position your arms will be in a lot of the ELDOAs and some of the stretches as well. All right, relax your arms and let's go down all the way onto our backs for our first ELDOA. So I'm going to roll down onto my back. Just relax once you're down. Keep your feet flat with your knees bent, pointing to the ceiling. And here, just like when you were sitting against the wall, you should feel your spine. Which parts of your spine are lifting off the mat and which parts are down? If you start to tuck your pelvis, remember no abdominal work, just tuck your pelvis, you'll feel your low back flatten. And then lift your low back away so you untuck your pelvis. And do that again. Tuck your pelvis, flatten your low back. And then untuck your pelvis. Now put your hands on your ribs. Don't let your ribs push up. As you tuck your pelvis, keep your ribs heavy. And then untuck. And let's do one more. Tuck your pelvis. Can you keep your low back down? Relax the abdominals. Don't squeeze the bum. Just flatten and lengthen your lumbar spine, your low back, into the floor. Drop your ribs down. Now bring your arms up over your chest. Palms can face each other. And you're just going to lift your shoulder blades up and then bring them back down onto the floor. And lift them up and bring them back down. 2 more times. Lift your shoulder blades. Keep your low back down and long. Last one, lift and bring them back down. Now your head. Nod your chin. Slide the back of your skull further away from your shoulder blades. And then lift your eyes and your chin back to the ceiling. So as you nod your chin, your neck spine lengthens and flattens a little bit. And then lift your eyes and your chin. 2 more times. Nod, look down over your cheekbones, lengthen your neck, and look back up. Last time, you're going to stay in that position. Nod your chin. Feel the back of your skull sliding away from your shoulder blades. Relax your jaw and your throat. Feel your low back stretching long. See if you could reach your tailbone through your feet. And then reach the crown of your head to the top of your mat. Let's add the arms. Externally rotate your arms so your elbow creases are up. And then extend your wrists so your fingertips point to your knees. The heels of your hands shoot spider webs straight up to the ceiling. Okay, bring your knees in one at a time, right in over your chest. So if you really draw your knees in, you should be able to keep your low back nice and flat and heavy. Flex your feet. Lift your heels a little bit.
Look down through your feet and stretch your spine longer. Now your goal is to keep your spine stretching really long on the mat and start to push the heels of your hands straight up into the ceiling. But turn your arm bones out to their maximum. Really externally rotate those upper arms. Your shoulder blades might lift, but you keep your upper back between your shoulder blades on the floor. And then nod your chin, slide the back of your skull away from that upper back. Spread your fingers, extend your hands, press your palms to the ceiling, externally rotate your arms, draw your knees in a little closer and reach your tail and crown apart. Hold for another 10 seconds. We're aiming to decoapt the very middle of the neck. So see if you can reach your head a little further to the top of your mat. And then as you breathe, slowly relax your hands. Then your arms come down. Keep your legs in your spine. Then put one foot down, the other foot down, and then release your spine and your eyes and let your head just loll side to side and take a few breaths. So we always come in and out of ELDOA postures and myofascial stretches nice and slowly so there's no fascial rebound. Okay, here we go. Let's roll onto our sides and come on up to a seated position. We're gonna go for cross-legged here. And like I said, if you need to sit up on something because your low back is tight, that's perfectly understandable. Go ahead and do that. You put your hands on your knees, and we're gonna begin first with some rib movement. So keep your pelvis really still and just circle your ribs around. Nice easy circles. Stay evenly weighted on your sit bones. So try not to rock off your pelvis. And then go the opposite direction with those rib circles. And here we're just creating a little bit of awareness in our brain, a clearer picture of our thoracic spine from about your lowest rib to your collarbones, that area of your back. Come right into the center. Bring your hands overhead and just make a house over your head. See if you can draw your chin in and bring your neck spine back in space, and then slide your right ear to the right and then your left ear to the left. Just a slight slide to the right and to the left. Good, one more time. Neck spine and head to the right, neck spine and head to the left, and come back to center. Now nod your chin in again, pull your neck spine back. Good, pull your tailbone down, bring your ribs back, sit tall. So if you were seated against that wall, you would be stretching up along the wall through the back of your skull, down into the ground through your tailbone. Make sure your low back is back and flat. Let's keep the fingers and thumbs lightly together and start to straighten the elbows. And where we're working now is T6-7, so a little bit above the bottom of the shoulder blades. Can you find your shoulder blades and go a little higher than their bottom tips? And that's where you are, about T6. Now look down over your cheekbones if you like, maybe 4 or 5 feet in front of you. Bring your rib cage back a little bit. Keep your low back back and aim your ears right on top of your shoulders. Now stretch your arms up even more. Let your shoulder blades slide up the sides of your rib cage. Go for maximum length through the sides of the body, through the fingertips. Maybe your shoulder blades come right up and maybe your biceps can come squeeze the sides of your head. You're aiming to bring your arms as straight and as far back to the sides of your head as you can without pushing your head forward or your ribs forward. Breathe into your ribs. Hold here, fingers and thumbs are lightly touching. Tuck your chin, bring your low back and your low ribs back. Bring the back of your head back and reach up for 10 more seconds. Maybe you can bring your arms back a little bit more. Breathe into T6. Maybe you can feel the tension right there in the mid-back. And then very slowly, soften your elbows, bring your hands back down. Relax them to your knees. Relax your spine. Relax your eyes. Excellent, nice work. Set your legs out in front of you and just go ahead and flip-flop them in and out and in and out. Good. And then from here, we're going to set the feet flat so you have a 90-degree angle between your thigh and your shin. So from the side angle, we're about here, 90 degrees. Good. And all you're going to do here, hold on to the backs of your knees, and one more time, round back through your spine and then pull yourself back up. Rock off your sit bones, round your low back and your thoracic spine. Use your arms to come back up. So 2 more times, rounding back, and then use your arms to come up. 1 more time, rounding back. Use your arms to come up. Now stay right up on your sit bones, lengthen your spine again, that elongation. We do it in every single one of them. Pull your tailbone down, push the crown of your head up. See if you can aim your ears over your shoulders, shoulders over your ribs, ribs over your pelvis. If you're a rib thruster, bring those ribs back. Take your right arm out in front of you, externally rotate it and extend your wrist, and then bring your right arm right up beside your right ear. Push your hand up to the ceiling, push your sit bone, that right sit bone down to the floor, straighten and lengthen the right side of your spine. And then keep your spine long, bring your right arm down, rest it on your shin, take your left arm out, externally rotate it, extend your wrist, and bring your arm up towards your ear. Push the heel of your hand up to the ceiling, push your sit bone, the left sit bone, down into the floor, elongate from the bone behind the left ear all the way down to the left sit bone. And then bring your hand down and relax it onto your shin. Recline on your hands, stretch your legs out and just let them flip-flop in and out, in and out. Take a couple breaths. We're going to put both sides together. And now this is kind of really the center of the spine, or it'll feel very centered, T8-9. So you can think again about the bottom part of the shoulder blades and go a little bit below that. That's where we are in the spine. So set your feet flat, knees point to the ceiling. Lift right up out of your spine, but press your sit bones into the floor. So really root down through your sit bones. Here we go. Our arms come out in front. Externally rotate your arms and extend your wrists. Check in on your spine. Can your ribs move back a little bit? Could you tuck your chin and lift the top of your throat up and back? Your eyes will naturally look down over your cheekbones. And then start to bring your arms slowly up towards your ears. See if you can keep those sit bones rooted down. Can your arms come all the way up towards the sides of your head, or do they have to stop partway up? If your ribs and your head are pushing forward dramatically, then bring your arms forward and reset your spine. Try to keep your spine straight and bring your arms up only as high as you can maintain your spine. We're going to hold here for 30 more seconds, and your work is simply to push the crown of the head up to the ceiling. Elongate the spine, flatten out all the curves, push your sit bones down, push your arms through the heels of your hands up to the ceiling, and lift the mid-back up, pull from the mid-back down, down. Tuck your chin, reset your neck, reset your ribs. Sit a little taller. We have 10 more seconds. It's a lot of work, but stay with it. Push those sit bones down and hold for 5. And 4, get taller. Grow even taller for 3 and 2. Last one, bring your arms slowly down. Keep your spine tall. Relax your hands to your shins. Relax your spine and your eyes. Recline on your hands. Bring your legs out. Let them flop in and out. So a lot of work to sit up in these positions. If you find it hard, that's perfectly normal. It will take some time as your low back becomes more flexible, as your hip flexors become stronger, it gets a lot easier. All right, let's do one more seated ELDOA. We're gonna go for this one just about 30 seconds, so not as long, maybe 45. Have your legs open this time. So before we were knees up to the ceiling, now your knees just fall to the sides. And practice flexing and pointing your feet for me here. Flexing and pointing. Hands can be on your knees just to relax your knees to the floor. And then let's flex the feet, and we're gonna try E version of the feet. So that would be like pushing the big toe joint and the arch of the foot down into the floor while pulling the toes up towards the shins. It's a lot of work in the legs, that's okay. And then sink your knees down towards the floor, push your sit bones down to the floor, draw your tailbone down, and then rebound right up through the crown of the head. Awesome. Okay, so here we go. We're lifting out of the low back. This is L4, your fourth lumbar vertebra. So maybe you can even feel the low back in some good tension right here. Take your arms out in front, similar to the last ELDOA. Externally rotate your arms and extend your wrists. Tuck your chin in so your neck is very long. Your mid back is long and lifted. Your low back is flat, back and long. Good, bring your arms slowly up towards your ears, and remember, they only go up as high as you can maintain your neck, thoracic, and low back in the same plane, in one straight line. So if your arms are a little in front of you, that's fine. If you can bring them back to your ears, great. Bring your ribs back a little bit, tuck your chin in a little more, and now feel your shoulder blades wide on your back, and then let them slide up the sides of the ribs. Eyes are down, your breath is in your belly, soft jaw. Spread your fingers, send those Spider-Man hands up to the ceiling, pull your toes up to your shins, and press your knees down. And here we hold for 10, 9, knees down, low back flat and back. Tuck your chin, elongate your spine, lift out of your low back. One more breath, you can do it. And then slowly bring your arms down. Relax your hands to your shins, relax your feet and your legs, relax your spine, stretch your legs out, and let them roll in and out. And take a couple nice easy breaths. Okay, we're rounding it out to the last ELDOA. By now, you've got a hopefully better sense of that spine elongation, some of the movements of the hands and the feet. Let's take our mat, if you have a mat, put it perpendicular to the wall so that you can lie lengthwise on the mat with your legs up the wall. And I'll show you the easiest way to get in is to actually come in sideways. So I'm gonna go in sideways to the wall, get my pelvis right up against the wall, and then swing my legs up. And then the only thing there is left to check is to make sure that I'm straight. So you don't want your legs to be over here and your head over here. You want in a nice straight line. Okay, ideally, your sit bones are right up against the wall, even if that means your knees are bent because your hamstrings are a little tight. No worries, keep the knees bent, but get those sit bones touching the wall. And our last time for this class, see if you can get your low back to sink into the floor. So you might have to tuck your pelvis a little bit. Get your low back down into the floor. Maybe put your hands on your ribs to encourage your ribs to drop down as well. Sometimes with effort, we push our ribs up to the ceiling. Good. Okay, so from here, keep the low back down and think about reaching the tailbone through the wall. So it's not going to move a whole lot, and you don't want your low back to lift, but just to elongate, pull the tailbone into the wall. Sink the ribs and the waistline down, and then of course your neck spine, nod your chin, slide the back of your head away from your shoulder blades. Make sure your upper back is down between your shoulder blades. And let's start with the legs. So take your right leg, straighten it as straight as it can go. If your knee's a little bit bent, that's okay. Don't let your spine change. Then straighten your left leg. Keep your spine flat and long. Traction your spine along the floor. And now flex both feet so your heels slide up the wall. Your toes pull down towards your belly button. Turn your legs in and your big toes might touch. That's okay for now. But then you're going to pull your big toes down towards your belly button so that your feet shine in at one another. That's your inversion. Spread your toes. Shine the soles of your feet in, but push your heels up to the ceiling. Maybe if your legs are straight, you can push your calf muscles into the wall. Sink your low back, your sacrum into the floor. Let's add the arms now. So we need tension from the upper body. Externally rotate your arms and extend your wrists so that the palms of your hands push to the ceiling and your fingers point to your knees. Look down over your cheekbones, stretch your spine out a little bit more, and then bring your arms slowly back towards your ears. And again, they only go so far back so that you can retain your ribs. Keep your ribs down, maintain that long neck, eyes down. Your arms will come all the way to the floor, but they don't rest on the floor, they just hover off the floor. Push the heels of your hands way overhead to the top end of your mat. And now push your heels way up to the ceiling. Pull your toes down, shine the soles of your feet in, and see if you can stretch your low back even more out on the mat. Nice deep breaths into the belly. We're going to hold here with the arms and the legs spiraling away from your torso. Push them away and flatten your torso. Drop the ribs, drop the low back. Keep the abdominal wall soft. One more breath. Push your arms overhead more. Nod your chin. Reach your tailbone through the wall. Push your heels up. Good. And then bring your arms up over your chest. Relax your arms down. Relax your feet. Relax your knees, your low back, mid back, upper back, and eyes. And now you're just going to check and make sure you've released all the tension from those postures. And you can have your feet flat with your knees bent, or you can let your legs open up into a nice V stretch, whatever is most comfortable for you. Take a few nice deep breaths. And what you'll find after a number of ELDOA classes is your body will change a little bit, yes, but really your mobility will change and your alignment will change. And these are really important things as we move through life, to have that mobilization and an awareness for good alignment no matter what you're doing. So if you have a sport that you love doing, you'll probably find some improvements in that sport just because you're so much more aware of the different parts of your body. Okay, that's it for today. So if you want, roll onto your side. Try not to twist your spine too dramatically as you come up. And that's the end of our introductory class. Once you come back up to standing, you can notice how your spine feels, how your body feels. Remember to stay hydrated. Always come to class hydrated and rehydrate when you're done, especially when we're working with fascia. And thanks so much for joining me. I hope I get to see you in a class soon. Take care.